Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tinting the new car. I tried to do the whole fishbowl thing and I'm just not feeling it, and it's too hot. We're currently in mid-June, and every time I take this car anywhere, it just gets too hot. So we're going to be taking it, getting some tint. Nothing crazy. I've never been a fan of like crazy dark tint. I'm probably going to end up going something similar to what I have on the Evo, which is 35%. Which is just enough to give you a little bit of privacy as well as maintain that cool when you're not in the car. So I did end up doing a few little things. Ended up getting the OBD link and linked it up with Beamer code, and it's pretty cool. It's essentially just like VAGCOM but for BMW, so where you can basically just change a bunch of features and stuff. Basically just electronic stuff is all really what I was curious about. So I'll go ahead and give you guys some of the things that I did show it to you. So notice key fob, notice the windows, and if I wanted to roll the windows down and stuff like that, this is all stuff that you typically do see on a lot of Euros that's capable. I ended up tweaking a couple little things in the dash and whatnot as well, but pretty cool, pretty easy to use. It's about 50 bucks for the little dongle thing, and it's about 30 bucks for the actual program. So it's pretty cool. You pay once and that's it, you're done with it. So let's take this thing out and get her tinted. All right, guys, got the tint all done. Here it is. I wanted to show you in the away from the sunlight simply because it doesn't look dark at all, but I wasn't really going for that. Looks pretty good though, honestly. I'm pretty happy. It's pretty much the same as the Evo. So there's the Evo back window, probably the best. And here is the M2 comp. Pretty nice. I'm happy with it. Looks good, cleans up the car. Looks really good on white, not too dark. And it passes inspection, so shouldn't have any issues. So let's take you on a ride and explain to you why I picked this car over any other car.
I want to take this opportunity to kind of talk to you guys about why I chose this car. And I do have Evo content coming, so I know a lot of you follow me for the Evo, but I really do enjoy this car, and I feel like maybe you guys want to hear about why I chose this car over something else. So basically, I was in the market for a Mark V Supra or something along that line, something within that price range, that $50,000 to $60,000 price range, which, I mean, there's quite a few competitors in that price range, to include like the GT350, obviously the Supra, kind of that class. Anyways, I was really set on the new Supra. I really was. And to make a long story short, I was in the middle of building the Evo, doing that whole build, and I didn't want to purchase a $60,000 car during that time, so just in case anything were to go wrong. And so I decided to basically hold off, and I sold my Mark 7 Golf R about a year and a couple months ago, and I love that car. It was a great car. It was perfect for what it was. Something with a little bit of luxury, a little bit of power, nothing crazy, but it's still smooth, has that German kind of thing going. And the thing about German cars that a lot of people don't really talk about is they cater a lot to the driver. Everything is like to the driver. So like you pull up to the pump and you undo the cap, there's a little freaking hole where you stick the little cap in. All the mirrors are heated. The seats, like my 02 GTI had heated mirrors, heated seats, electronic sunroof, so on and so forth. And that's stuff that my Civic Si, which is supposed to be a premium model, doesn't even have. So honestly, they really catered to the driver, which I really like. I know a lot of people have their opinions about German cars and whatnot, but one thing that's undeniable is they do a good job catering to the audience, the driver. Anyways, I was in the market for a Mark V Supra, and I love that car. I love the way it looked. I loved almost everything about it, with the exception of I didn't like how BMW essentially cut corners on that car. Rightfully so. It's a car that they were basically giving to Toyota. Was interested in the Supra, and EvoBuild got in the way. I waited around and I stumbled across some content about the M2, and I really didn't know too much about it. So I started doing some research, and I found out actually for the first time, I didn't even know that they still put these manual transmissions in those cars. So I was thinking, you know, everybody was pretty much done with them, to include like Audi said that they're pretty much done, so on and so forth. So anyways, I started doing more research, and it turns out that this car was a better car overall, in my opinion. All this stuff that I'm saying is my opinion. Overall, I just felt like it was just a better car. You get more for the price. And to make it even more, like with a Supra, granted that B58 engine's great and all that stuff, you don't get all the M stuff from BMW with that car. So with that being said, I almost feel like if I would have bought a Supra, I would have been shortchanged. Not to mention, the number one reason is this right here, the manual transmission. I'm a manual guy. I love manual transmissions. I've never owned an automatic. This is all literally I know. So I was very scared that if I would have bought a Supra with an automatic transmission, I would have basically gotten bored and would have been like, hey, I don't like this anymore. I get tired of it. So I think that this was a better option. I personally believe this car looks better than the Supra. I like how it's a little bit more comfortable to get in and out. It's a little bit more not in your face like a Supra, because the Supra attracts a lot of attention. And I really like the way that these cars are actually more rare than the Supra. I live in a small area. This is a military town basically, and I can pretty much tell you that there's probably around like 10, if not even more, A90 Supras driving around. I have never seen an M2 around here, especially an M2 competition. I've never seen one. So I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure I'm the only guy that owns an M2 competition in this town, which to me, that's great. I mean, I love it. And it's not even like these cars are like, they're not exotic. So, I mean, it's a great looking car. It's a BMW, but they're not exotics, and they're still in that price range where, you know, like a Hellcat, or like I said earlier, a GT350. So I'm basically getting a car that's super rare with a manual transmission, has plenty potential for power, and I'm basically getting this car and there's none around, which is great to me. And the area that I live in is essentially an area where a lot of young people live, because it's a military town. So you're gonna see a lot of cool cars out here, and I've never seen an M2. Another reason why I bought this is I was in the market for a rear-wheel drive car. I really wanted a rear-wheel drive car, and there's not really much options when it comes to what I look for. I'm not a big V8 guy. Honestly, there's probably a handful of V8s I would probably own, but other than that, honestly, I'm just not into the V8s. I wanted something with 6 cylinders. I don't really like V6s, because automatically, in my opinion, you start thinking about like the Z, which I'm not the biggest fan of. The 400Z looks promising, but we don't know that yet. I'm not a fan of the Z itself. I'm not a fan of the crowd, the community that comes with it, so on and so forth. So I wanted an inline 6, and I want a rear-wheel drive. This is my first rear-wheel drive car, and honestly, there's not many choices for these types of cars, mainly because these cars they're more of a luxury more than anything. They're not typically cars that people buy. You don't typically buy a rear-wheel drive car because you need a commuter. Usually it's an enthusiast kind of car where you want it because you're a car guy. If you want a commuter car, you typically either buy a front-wheel drive, or if you live up north, you get an all-wheel drive just in case you need to deal with the snow and whatnot. But I wanted a rear-wheel drive car, and this was the most suitable thing that I was looking for because of the way that it is, the way it looks, how rare it is, and it comes with a manual transmission. So overall, I feel like I picked the best car, and honestly, this car it's really not, it's a driver's car. Like, it honestly, look, it has a regular e-brake, it has a manual transmission, it has you do get the amenities, but they're like kind of muted essentially, because you know there's no giant screen in my face. Yeah, I'll have that, but like that's nothing compared to the stuff you see nowadays where you see giant iPads and whatnot in vehicles. So I just feel like this is the perfect car for me. It gives you a little bit of new, but it sticks to the old, and I'm able to still enjoy the things that I want, because honestly guys, these things, they're not going to be around for much longer. Like if you want a car and you can afford it right now, and there's a certain car that you want because you know you just want it, now's the time to get it, because in 5 years there's no telling that, you know, we're going to be allowed to, well, we'll be allowed to drive them, but you won't find them as often as you see them now. So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah guys, I'm loving this thing so far. It's got plenty of potential. It comes with a premium package off the bat. Like, there's not too many options for this car, but it comes with 6-piston brakes up front, 4 in the rear. Like, that's stuff that you don't see in the Supra. The Supra doesn't even have that. The brakes on the Supra are a joke. And you know, it just comes with all the premium like amenities that an M car would. And it's more of a car that's basically tailored to a driver, and like it's a nimble car. It's small, the wheelbase is small. I plan on taking this car and doing some track days, maybe some autocross. They do some autocross up north, about an hour away, so I was actually considering doing that. But overall, like, I'm really happy with this purchase. I've been eyeballing these cars for a while now, for about seven or 8 months now, and I'm glad I jumped on it. Just goes to show you, you never know. I was dead set on a Supra for over a year. Like, I joined all the groups. I know so much about the A90 Supra, I really do. And turns out it wasn't really the car for me. And here I am now in an M2 competition. So stay tuned for more content, guys. I'm not gonna go crazy with this car, so don't plan on me building anything crazy. At the most, I'm gonna do wheels. It's already lowered, some bolt-ons, so on and so forth. So, you know, don't expect too much out of this car, but I am gonna make it mine with the simple things that I do, touches. So it should be a really clean car once I'm, you know, completely done with it. So yeah guys, stay tuned for more content. I got more stuff for the Evo. Eventually, once I get familiar with this car, I'll take you on an actual drive where I'm actually ripping through gears and whatnot, but I'm still kind of learning the car. But yeah guys, stay tuned for more content, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.